Gadget Podcast. I'm going to have to listen to that and see how it sounds. Because I don't think I've ever heard that one out loud, and I think that's not one of my best. Like, I'm pretty sure the other cartoonish voices I do are way more convincing. Totally had a whole, like, pile of shenanigan today in the office for one reason and another, but it resulted in me jokingly doing IT phone support scenarios in the both of us are trying to get in here. That was not ideal. In the what's his face Batman voice, you know the one I'm talking about. You know. But, we ended up joking about doing. Why am I telling you guys? Do I think you're gonna laugh about this? I'd have to tell the whole context, and like I don't know how much context I'm allowed to tell. Right? So the thing about inside jokes. They seem really, really funny. A lot of really funny things, I feel, have happened to me. But there's a lot of context. And if I sit back and really think about it, it's really true of all jokes. Kind of all jokes are inside jokes. Because every time you say something funny, there's a context wherein it's funny. I don't think there's anything that's just inherently funny by itself. Right? Everything has to have context. It's way too many phonemes all piled on one another, and a lot of the same kind of like. Do those even sound different to this mic? Probably not. So the jokes are kind of, for one person, for some in group, they're never universal. There's no such thing as a universally funny joke. And then this is getting really vague and into the sort of useless generality territory, but that kind of is the same principle that we've already discussed about universal ethics, right? You can't have a universal joke for the same reason you can't have a universal ethics, because it depends on your context. Remember there was someone translated a whole bunch of jokes out of Russian, and one of them kind of stuck with me as very characteristically idiomatic. And when you translate it out, the translation roughly comes out to, who sits and writes all these jokes? And the answer is, well, whoever sits, he sits. And it's not funny in English to like an American audience, or I don't know, maybe it's really funny to a British audience, but it's like not funny to an American audience because it doesn't make any damn sense. Which is part of why I liked it. It's idiomatic, and it's probably like not that funny in the original context, which was explained where in this translation. The jokes that it's referring to are some series of jokes roughly about the government and the leaders and so on, and it's all in kind of a Soviet context, so joking about the Soviet leaders, which is not really done, and apparently is still not done in Putin's Russia, but there were jokes, like they existed, and so the joke was, who writes all these? Because sit, I guess, is a generic verb for that sort of thing, or the way that verb works. You can, who sits and writes all these? Response: whoever sits, he sits. Because sit in Russian, I guess, is idiomatic for do time in jail. So the joke is that you didn't say any different words, but you're like, well, I don't know who's writing all these jokes. I don't know, but whoever it is, we don't know about them. Maybe more closer to idiomatic English-ish. It's not funny, like, to me. I guess I can see how it would be funny because it's a pun, and I love puns. But it's not really like, oh, haha, he sits. I get it. I don't get it because I don't have that context. That kind of makes me wonder about, and like, it makes me on some level a little more impressed, I think, with localization of humorous material. Like, funny stuff is really hard to translate, I feel. And as a great example of, like, no, that wasn't funny, but I'm gonna laugh about it. Pokemon. The show Pokemon is full of a lot of egregiously bad puns. Like really, really painfully bad puns. Which I think are funny because I think that sort of thing is really funny. But I think most people just find them cringeworthy. I'm not super up on, my Japanese media, but it's my understanding that it's pretty punny in Japanese too. Like that's the bulk of the humor there as well, is that it's, in addition to the pratfalls, which are a little more universal, they're still not, because they're predicated on, human biology and what have you. But in addition to all that, the humor is still pretty punny, and translating pun-based humor between languages is rough, right? You have to find new puns. Like you can't just say the same thing. Then it's just weird and non-contextual. I think my favorite example is there were a couple people talking about the James character, who is really campy, like super duper campy. And the joke, I think, in the show is that I don't know if it's the joke, but anyway, he's like super campy, ultra campy, based on a lot of really colorful and ridiculous stereotypes of a particular kind of gay man. Which canonically, I don't think he is, actually, because there's at least one episode where he's seduced by the ghost of some woman or something, and goes crazy for her or something like that. But that's his character, is that camp. Someone was commenting, and I don't think. Someone commented, I liked it better in the Japanese because he didn't have all that terrible, like, campy, dumb, whatever that he's got going on in the English version. And then somebody responded with a gif of him in a Moltres costume bursting through a wall screaming, "I am the flaming Moltres!" Which was a great episode, by the way, because I love James so much. which is all the response you need, because there's like no way that translation efforts made that outfit not what it was, right? You can't translate that outfit to anything but the riotous rainbow nonsense that it is, and it was hilarious. But as a great example, he bursts through the wall screaming, "I'm a flaming Moltres," and it cuts to Jesse and Meowth. They turn to each other and go, and Jesse goes, or I think Meowth goes, "Where did he even find that costume?" And Jesse goes, "I think he just had it in his closet." Which in English, at least, is campy jokes, right? Because the joke being that he's deeply in the closet somewhere, as a metaphor for being gay and not out about it, or as a idiomatic phrase. And so it's a lot of puns based on that sort of thing. Flaming also is a term for that, and I don't think those translate directly, right, into Japanese. So in the original Japanese, are there jokes about his flamboyant persona in that scene, and what do they sound like? I don't know. Did they write entirely new characters when they localized it? Weird stuff, right? Strange questions. I'm gonna pause here, actually, and I'll be back in a bit. And I think we'll keep talking about linguistics, localization, and maybe jokes. So I will see you right soon. And welcome back. We're back, we're driving, we're doing more stuff, and I left off talking about Pokemon jokes, puns, and linguistics, and how jokes don't translate very well. And I wondered, what if we could make them translate really well? Oh, that's spooky. I've not seen it like that before. That weird shadow in front of my face? That's my phone. That was crazy. I don't think I've seen that. I mean, maybe it's happened before and I just haven't looked when it was happening, but I've never seen that, so that was wild. One thing about turning the mirror this way, or not the mirror, that's not a mirror, that's a camera. One thing about turning the camera this way is that it, I hope, will result in me touching my face less, which is good. Scratching my nose, picking at my beard, and just less touching of my face, which is good. I touch my face too much. I guess that sounds weird. I don't think it's that weird. I mean, like beards, you touch them, right? You just like mess with them, but I want to do less of that. I think it'll be a healthier beard for it. So having a camera on me helps, I think, which is good. Also, I like food preparation, and it's kind of gross to like touch your face and then touch somebody's food. So it'd be nice to have a reminder not to touch food. And right now, I mean, honestly, the only food I prepare is my own food. So the only things that are going in the food is like the only people's food it's messing with is mine, and you know, that's not really that bad, all things considered. I used to work in food service. I practice good glove discipline. Like you wash your hands and you put on gloves, and then you do the thing you need to do, and if you end up doing pretty much anything else, you swap the gloves. Like, oh, I scratched my head. Well, I need a new pair of gloves now. Oh, I picked up this thing. Nope, need a new pair of gloves. And it's, you blow through a lot of gloves, but, you know, health, safety. you don't know whose food it's going to be, so it's important to be careful. Yeah, I don't really know that I have a whole lot more to say right now on the topic of that. So on the topic of linguistics and whatnot. So I think I'll move on from there and on to something else. I'm kind of liking the idea of a like long idea, short idea. Do a 15-minute, 12 to 15, you know, the drive varies in length, but do like 12 to 15 minute longer idea. Maybe use that for the serious topics like the economics and the ethics and all of that, politics or whatever, and then maybe do a shorter one if there's any channel updates, which isn't a channel really. I mean, I have like 10 videos up now, but they're unlisted, so nobody watches them. You can't search for them. You have to know who I am, and I'm not super active, so like you'd have to follow one of my comments and be like, oh, he posts videos. Does he say things? And really, who's going to be like, oh, I want to watch 20 minutes of what this random commenter had to say? He gave me this one-liner that almost told me something, but didn't really. I bet he's really interesting. Nobody's said nobody ever. There's no pictures, there's no things, so there's no channel to speak of. I really need to work on that and put up some kind of channel art. I don't know what I would do since I don't know what I would use for channel art, since I do not consider myself much of an artist in that sense. I don't do the like two-dimensional business, the representational. It's not really my bag. I can't draw pictures of things. Let's put it that way. I don't draw pictures of things. I don't consider myself very good at it, so I don't like bother with it, right? And this was gonna be about frivolous stuff, and now it's all about me. No, I can't. Sorry. I'm not. My voice is not that high. Well, there's still light here, so you can't see my expression. The headlights aren't enough. The street lamp doesn't do it. There's an expression. But, you know. Me. Like you do. Yeah. Channel updates. And frivolous topics. Silly stuff. I don't know. Game things. Any game ideas? Craft things? Probably not craft things. I really need to do another Let's Craft, because I kind of want to go over what I do know about drop spindle and what I do know about wheel spinning. I have been spinning more, and I've got a couple skeins, so I guess I could go over, you know, what I've crafted so far. One wonders if how much it matters what I do with my name. Obviously, I'm not using one yet. When I start multiplayer gaming, it will come up. But what to call myself in the interim, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the mustache is part of it, but I do look kind of Asian. I'm not at all, actually. Not even kind of a little bit. Or at least not far back enough that it matters, you know. I mean, yeah, I guess I do have ancestors that live in Asia at some point, but there was a land bridge across the Bering Strait back then, so, you know, it's like not really the same. It's not, doesn't really count, you know. Well, yeah. So I like that format idea. Probably vary it up from time to time, just because, like, keeping a consistent schedule is not really my bag. So, you know, we'll do what we can do. But other than that,
next time, viewers, next time.